Hello students, how are you? Hope that all of you are staying at home safely.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm 1 minute late because I was suffering problem because of internet. So I'm extremely sorry. Uh, this is our second class, right? This is our
Yes,
second
ma'am.
class. And I think all of you were present in your previous class. Is there anyone new? No, I think all of you are present in my first class. So we can start from now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And one good news for you is that all of you complain that facing problem for understanding mathematics in slide, right? Maximum students complain that they don't understand mathematics in the slide or PDF file. So probably from your next class, I will take the class on whiteboard. I will try, I'm not sure, but I will try to take your class on by using whiteboard, and I think it will be quite easy for you to understand rather than slide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you should encourage your friends to join online class or participate online class, right? And one thing is that I provided course materials and our previous class record in the Google Classroom. Have you get the password of Google Classroom? I provided that in your SEER, to your SEER. Have you got the password of Google Classroom?
Ma'am, still not, ma'am. We'll be getting them.
But I provided that.
Ma'am, it would be better if you provide information or any kind of materials or anything to the military students, to one of us particularly, specifically. They get from the SEER, but if we get particularly, then it would be better for us.
Then please write down any of you, please write down your information about phone number and mail ID in the chat box. I will collect from the chat box, okay? Anyone?
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone from military students who wanted to communicate with course structure, then write down your phone number and mail ID on the chat box. I will collect from there. Thank you. And one request for you that regarding attendance, please write in your ID number on the chat box, all of you. Only ID number on the chat box, all of you write down for attendance. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Our course title is Fourier Analysis and Laplace Transform, but we will start from Fourier Analysis. And this is our second class regarding Fourier analysis, but this course is quite different and difficult. That's why I will repeat something and review something regarding our previous class today, and after that I will continue to forward. So at first I will review some topics or something about our previous class. After that I will continue for today's class. So at first, can you see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at first I will discuss about periodic function. Suppose we consider a function f of x. Normally we consider a function f of x. Suppose you consider f of x is equal x cube. Sorry, f of x is equal sin x, right? We consider f of x is equal sin x. Then what about f of x plus 2 pi? Sorry, I cannot write in this slide pi. That's why I'm writing the spelling of pi. So what will happen if we consider x plus 2 pi in the place of x? Then it will be sine x plus 2 pi, right? Sorry, sine x plus 2 pi. And the final result will be sine x, right? So here we can see that if you replace x by x plus 2 pi, then we get final result is sine x, which is similar to our considered function f of x, right? And this type of function are known as periodic functions. Okay, these type of functions are known as periodic functions, which have I told in your first class. Again, you can write f of x plus 4 pi in the place of x, then we get sine x plus 4 pi. Then it also produces the result sine x. Similarly, if you write down f of x plus 6 pi, then we get sine x plus 6 pi, and final result will be sine x. So in this three case, in first case we can see that if you replace x by x plus 2 pi, the result is sine x, which is similar to f of x. If you replace x by x plus 4 pi, then we get sine x, which is similar to f of x. Can you see the slide, students? Are you seeing the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Again, when we replace x by x plus 6 pi, it is also equal to our considered function f of x. So from here we can see that this type of function satisfies such type of condition. F of x plus p is equal f of x. Basically, this is the condition for being periodic functions. This is the condition, f of x plus p is equal f of x. This is the condition for being periodic functions. And if you compare the above three functions, f of x plus 2 pi, f of x plus 4 pi, f of x plus 6 pi, you can see that these three functions satisfy these conditions, right? So here we can see that sine x is a periodic function. Sine x is a periodic function. Now the question is, what will be the period? What will be the period? Here basically, if you consider this condition here, p is the period, and there is a condition for being p that p will have to be greater than 0. That means the value of the period will have to be positive. For periodic functions, the value of p will have to be positive. That means greater than 0. And one thing is that if we consider f of x is equal sine x, then we get three values of p. 2 pi, 4 pi, and 6 pi. Here we get three values of p, 2 pi, 4 pi, and 6 pi. Now the question is, what will be the period? If you get such types of many values for p, then the least value of p will be the period of that function. The least value of p will be period of that function. And here we get 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi for the function sine x. The values of p is 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi for the function f of x is equal sine of x, right? So here least value is 2 pi. So for that function f of x is equal sine x, the period will be only 2 pi, because this is the least value among 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi. Okay. Have you got the topic? Is there any problem to understand periodic functions now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and one thing is that from now we will take the interactive class. Interactive class means you have to cooperate with us, right? So please respond when I ask something. If you understand, then you can say yes, and if any problem, then you can ask me any type of problem. Okay. So this is the basic idea about periodic functions. Now I want to introduce about constant function. About constant function, what will be that? Suppose f of x is equal to f of x is equal here 5. Yes, you can consider 5, consider 7, consider 10,000, anything, any constant number, 5. And I also consider another function f of x is equal x square, right? And here, if you replace in this function, f of x is equal 5, f of x is equal to will be what? For the function f of x is equal 5, if we write f of 2, then what will be the result here? Is there any change to 5?
No, ma'am.
No, the result will be 5, right? So here we can see that the functional value is unique. Here we can see that the functional value is unique. Again, for the second function, f of x is equal x square. If you replace x by 2, then the result will be 2 power 2, 4. If you replace x by 3, the result will be 5, right? So here you can see that for the first function, the functional value is fixed, and this type of function is known as constant function. This type of function, the first function f of x is equal 5, this first function, this type of function is known as constant function. Okay. So for constant function, the period, what will be the period? If we consider a constant function, f of x is equal 5 or any constant number, then what will be the period? For such type of functions, you can consider any positive number as like the period of that function. So for the function f of x is equals to 5, we can consider the period is 10, the period is 100, the period is 5, 3, 2, 1. You can consider any number, but that number will have to be positive, not negative. For period, you have to consider the positive number for constant function. And the constant function, the period will have to be any type of positive real number, positive real number. So here, this is the concept about constant function. Now, I think the idea about constant function is clear to you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we can go to our main topic. And for constant function, the period will be any type of positive real number. Now we will discuss about Fourier series. Basically, in Fourier analysis, the main work is to express our function into Fourier series. So in that case, you have to must know about Fourier series expansion or the definition of Fourier series, right? So our main work is to express our considered function into Fourier series. But we have to know what is the Fourier series. Suppose you consider a function f of x and consider an open interval minus L to L. Here we consider a function and an open interval. And it is assumed that the function f of x is defined in our open interval, right? And outside of this interval, what about outside of this interval? Outside of this interval, the function will have to be periodic function. So we get two conditions. The function will be defined in our considered interval, and outside of our interval, the function will have to be periodic functions. If two conditions are satisfied, then we can express our considered function f of x in this series. Here, this series is known as Fourier series. This expression a0 by 2 plus summation n is equal 1 to infinity an cos n pi x by l plus bn sin n pi x by l. This expression is known as Fourier series. And here there are three different things. The first term is the constant term. Here the first term is constant term. The second term is cosine term. And the third term is sine term. Okay. And one thing is that here there is the number an and bn. Here an and bn, n is the coefficient of cosine term and bn is the coefficient of sine term. And here an and bn are known as Fourier coefficients. So here an and bn are known as Fourier coefficients, and they have also some specific expression, fixed. This expression is fixed. Okay, for all functions, this expression is fixed. So the Fourier coefficients n is equal 1 by L minus L to L f of x cos n pi x by L dx. And the bn will be same things, but n is the coefficient of cosine and bn is the coefficient of sine. That's why for n you have to consider f of x cos n pi x by L, and for bn you have to consider f of x sine n pi x by L dx. Okay. Now I'm repeating the whole definition of Fourier series again for your better understanding. At first, you have to consider a function which is defined in an open interval. Suppose the interval is minus L to L. And the function is defined in this interval. Now, what will happen outside of this interval? Outside of this interval, the function is periodic function. The function will have to be periodic function outside of this interval. So if these two things is happen, then we can express our function f of x in this Fourier series. This is the notation but definition of Fourier series. Basically, this is the definition of Fourier series, that is a0 by 2 summation n cos n pi x by L plus bn sin n pi x by L. Okay, and here an and bn are known as Fourier coefficients which have special and specific expression. That is, n is equal 1 by L, upper limit to lower limit, the function f of x and the cosine term. And for bn, 1 by L, upper limit to lower limit, the function and the sine term. Okay. And here one interesting thing is that from this interval minus L to L, you will be able to find the period of your functions. By how? Here, our open interval is minus L to L. So what will be the period of this function? If the function is periodic functions, then what will be the period? From this interval, we can find the period. By how? Here, the starting point of the limit of the interval is minus L and the ending point is L, right? Here, the starting point is minus L and the ending point is L. And if you subtract the lower or the starting limit from the upper limit, that's why here okay, here our considered limit is minus L comma L, right? And you can consider the lower limit as minus L and the upper limit as plus L, and the period will be L minus L. That means 12. And in such case, you can find the period of any functions when the interval, open interval is given. When an open interval is given, in such case, you can find the period of any functions. So this is the definition of Fourier series. Have you any query about Fourier series?
There's a lot of things. There is the constants a0, an, bn. From where these values came, the value of an and bn.
What is the difference? It will be better if you repeat your question again.
Why the value of an is 1 by L integration of minus L? From where we got the value of an and bn, and what is a0?
I see. Here basically an and bn are the coefficients. Here the basically an and bn are known as coefficients. N is the coefficients of cos term and bn is the coefficients of sine term. And you may ask why the expression is like this. Here there is a proof. Here there is a proof for these two expressions. And since you are the students of engineering section, that's why I'm skipping this proof, because you need the application, not proof. Okay.
Yes,
but if anyone is interested to show or to learn the proof, then I will provide him. No problem. Here there are some proofs for obtaining this such type of expression of the Fourier coefficients, and I am skipping this proof because this proof is not necessary for you. You need only applications. And if any students are interested to know why an and bn are like this expression such, I want to know the proof, then you may mail me. I will provide him the proof. Okay. Have you got your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Basically, we have to use these informations in our mathematical problem. Now, odd functions and even functions, which have already taught in your previous class, but still, this is the initial stage of Fourier analysis. That's why I'm repeating these two definitions again. So, what about odd functions and even functions? Sorry. Where is the eraser? Okay. Now we will learn about odd function and even function. Suppose f of x is a function, and here if you replace x by minus x, if you replace x by minus x, and it gives you minus f of x. If the given function f of x satisfies these conditions, then this type of function is known as odd functions. Let's consider a function. Let's consider a function f of x is equal x cubed. Right? Now replace x by minus x. So what will happen? Minus x. The result will be minus x to the power 3. That means minus x cubed. Okay. So this term can be written as this. So we can see that here these functions f of x is equal x cubed satisfied the condition. f of minus x is equal minus f of x. And this is the condition for being odd functions. So can we see that this function is odd functions? Since the function f of x is equal x cube satisfied the condition for being odd function f of minus x is equal minus f of x. So we can say this function is an odd function. Similarly, if you consider f of x is equal sin x, f of x is equal sin x. Now replace x by minus x. Then what will happen? F of minus x is equal sin minus x. Can you say what will be the result? Do you know what is the result for sin minus x? It is minus sin x, right? Minus sin x. So we can write minus in the place of sin x. You can write only x. So here you can see that the function sin x satisfied the condition f of minus x is equal minus f of x. So can we say that sin x is an odd function? Yes. From this condition, we can say sin x is an odd function. Okay. Now we will learn about even function. We will learn about even function. So similarly, consider a function f of x, and if this function satisfies the condition f of minus x is equal only f of x. If we replace x by negative sign of x, that means replace x by minus x and keep the same function again, that means f of x. So this type of function is known as even function. Now we'll try some example. For example, let's consider f of x is equal x to the power 4. Let's consider f of x is equal x to the power 4. Now replace x by minus x. X by minus x, then what will be the result? Minus x to the power 4. Minus x to the power 4, and it will produce the same thing as our considered function x to the power 4, right? So we can write in the place of x to the power 4 as f of x. And here we can see that this function satisfied the condition for being even function. F of minus x is equal f of x, right? So from here we can say that the function f of x is equal x to the power 4 is an even function. Is there any query about this even function?
No, ma'am.
Okay, again you may consider since Fourier analysis related with sin x and cos x. So we will try for, since we know that sin x is odd functions, now we will verify for cos x. Since our considered topic Fourier analysis is directly related to sin x and cos x, so we will verify either sin x. We have already verified that sin x is odd function. Now we will verify for cos x. So let's consider f of x is equal cos x, reply x by minus x. Then what will happen? Cos minus x, right? And you know that cos minus x means cos x. So it is similar as our considered function f of x. So from here you can see that it satisfied the conditions for being even function f of minus x is equal f of x. So can we say that cos x is an even function? Can we say that f of x is equal cos x is an even function or odd function?
Even function.
Even function. Okay. And these even function or odd function are directly related to Fourier analysis. That's why I have discussed this topic again. Okay. Now we will learn about half-range Fourier sine series or cosine series. Here the relation is. Here the relation is. Okay. So half-range Fourier sine series or cosine series. Here half-range means you have to take the range of half. You have to take the half part of the whole range. In our previous section or for Fourier series, in the definition of Fourier series, the interval was minus L to L. But when you will consider half-range Fourier sine series or half-range Fourier cosine series, in that case, we have to take the interval half part of the whole interval. The whole interval was minus L to L and the half interval will be 0 to L. Is there any problem here to take the half range as like 0 to L?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you have to take the range, half range of the whole interval, and the interval will be for half range 0 to L. And one thing is that A half-range Fourier sine or cosine series is a series in which only sine terms or only cosine terms are present. That means in half-range Fourier sine series only sine term will present, and in half-range Fourier cosine series only cosine term will present, nothing else. And all of the things are similar. And there is a little bit change in the Fourier coefficients. If you make a comparison between Fourier series and half-range Fourier sine series and Fourier cosine series, there is a little bit comparison between the Fourier coefficients, nothing else. Here, this is our Fourier series, right? When you consider half-range sine series, then this term will be vanished. N cos n pi x by L. This term will be vanished. Only sine term will exist. Okay. When you will talk about half-range Fourier sine series, here in this series only the sine term, only the second term containing sine will present and this cos term will vanish. But what about for half-range cosine series? When you will talk about half-range cosine series, here only the cosine term will present. That means this term will present and this sine term will vanish. This sine term will vanish. And there is some specific notation for the Fourier coefficients. When we will work with half-range sine series, in that case, an will be 0 and bn will be this. And when you will consider half-range cosine series, then bn will be 0 and n will be like this. Okay. Now we can take the definitions of half-range Fourier series from the main definition of Fourier series. By how? Let me explain. Here, this is the definition of Fourier series. And from here, we will find the definition of half-range Fourier series and half-range sine series and half-range cosine series. So at first, we will try to find the half-range sine series. So for half-range sine series, only this term will exist and this term will vanish. Okay, this term will vanish. So this term will be vanished when the coefficient is 0. N is 0, then that term will be vanished. So for half-range Fourier sine series, the result will be only bn sine n by x by L, like this. And for cosine series, half-range Fourier cosine series, the result will be only this term and this term will be vanished. So this is the definition of half-range Fourier sine series and half-range Fourier cosine series. So I think you didn't get the idea about half-range Fourier sine series and half-range Fourier cosine series, right? Have you get the proper idea?
About the value of an equals to 0 and bn equals to 0, ma'am. It is due to the limit, half limit, or?
It is because of the, when you are working with half-range sine series, then n is equal to 0, right? But why? Because since we are working with the half part of sine series, then sine series must exist. And n is the coefficient of cos, right? N is the, here you can see that n is the coefficient of cos term. And that's why you have to take n is equal to 0. When you are working with half-range sine series, then sine part will must present. And you have to vanish cos term. And that's why you have to take the coefficients of cos term is equal to 0, nothing else. Okay, have you got your point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there is a difference in the value of n and bn, right? Here it is 1 by L and limit is minus L to L. But for half range, it is 2 by L and the limit is 0 to L. Now you can, anyone can tell me why here this change is happened? In our main series, it was 1 by L and limit is from minus L to L, right? But for half range, why we are considering 2 by L? Any idea, anyone? Here there is a difference, right? Here bn is equal to 2 by L and limit is from 0 to L, okay? But in your main series, it was 1 by L and limit is from minus L to L. Have anyone any idea why we are taking the limit like this and 2 by L, not 1 by L? Anyone?
আমরা লিমিটটা অর্ধেক করে দিয়েছি দেখে হচ্ছে 2 দিয়ে মাল্টিপ্লাই করে এটাকে।
But it will happen when the function is symmetric, and sin x and cos x both are symmetric functions. If they are not symmetric, then you cannot do that. You have learned it in integral calculus, I think. So you can divide your whole limit into two parts and multiply by 2 only when the functions are symmetric. Here sin x and cos x both are symmetric functions. That's why we can convert our main integral from -L to L to 2 into 0 to L. That's the reason. Okay, because the functions sin x and cos x.
We will understand.
How you will understand about sin x and cos x are symmetric or not?
Yes.
Okay, if you draw the curve of sin x and cos x, if you draw the curve on your answer script or paper of sin x or cos x, if the upper part and lower part are equal, then it will be symmetric about x-axis. If the right
From the curve form.
from the curve, yes, from the curve, and if the left part or right part equal, when the right part and left part of your curve are equal, then that curve is known as symmetric about y-axis. And when the upper part and lower part are equal, then that curve is symmetric about x-axis. Have you got it? If you draw the curve of sin x and cos x, then you will understand better.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we are at the end of our class, but this is the last topic, okay? This is the last one. Complex notation for Fourier series. I know all of you have idea about complex form. When in a function, there is an existence of I, and where I square is equal -1. Where I square is equal -1, and if in a function there is an existence of I, in that case, that functions are known as what? Complex functions, right? Do you know that? When a function will become complex? Okay.
There will be imaginary part.
Sorry?
When there will be imaginary part of a
okay,
function.
When there is an imaginary part, and for expressing imaginary part, we consider I, and the values for I will be √1, and from here we get I square is equal -1, right? So if in a function we obtain imaginary part, then that function is known as complex. And there is a complex notation for Fourier series. There is a complex notation of Fourier series. And by using this formula, you can convert a normal function, a real function, into complex expression. Is it interesting? By using this notation, we can convert a real function. Suppose f of x is equal to x or x squared something is into complex form. Is it interesting? Obviously. And the form is expression, and the complex notation for Fourier series for any function will be f of x is equal to summation, and here the limit will be -∞ to +∞. Here the limit will be -∞ to +∞. Cn e to the power in pi x. Can you see the slide properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For complex form, the expression will be f of x is equal -∞ to infinity Cn e to the power in pi x divided by L. And here Cn is the coefficient. Here Cn is the coefficients for complex form, and its notation is also here as like the previous one. As like the previous one. So 1/12 limit is from -L to L f of x e to the power in pi x divided by L into dx. And here it will, here basically the coefficients of Fourier in complex form change on the basis of this function f of x. Here this is the change. Here this is the change. If we'll consider f of x is equal x, then Cn will be changed. If you consider f of x is equal x squared, then for this part Cn will be changed. But there is no change here. This formula is fixed. Okay, this formula is fixed. There will be change in the values of Cn. And after evaluating Cn, you have to put the values of Cn in this series. I think this is quite different and difficult, but we have to try to understand, right? So I'm repeating again. When in a function, we can see the imaginary part, and for imaginary part, basically we use I, right? To express the imaginary part, we use I. and the values of I is -1, root over -1, root over -1, and from there we get I square is equals to -1. Basically, this is the identity of complex function. And by using this notation, complex notation for Fourier series, we can express any functions in terms of complex form. I think it is really interesting. We can express a normal function into complex form of Fourier series by using this formula. So what is that? F of x is equal -infinity to +infinity Cn e to the power I and pi x divided by L. Okay. And here the change is Cn. Cn will be changed on the basis of function. When the function is f of x, it will give a value. When the function is x squared, then it gives another value. So the values of Cn will be varied according to your considered function. But the expression is fixed. Here the expression f of x is equal this expression is fixed. So students, that's all for today. I know this topic is quite different, so I tried to include a very simple topic and a little bit topic, not very large topic.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I provided my email ID and my phone number.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And one thing, there is another formula. Please give me 1 minute. So I will complete within 1 minute. This is double Fourier series. It's very simple. It's very simple. Double Fourier series. When you see something, say something double means 2, right? So for any function, when we say that double, that means it contains double variable. That means 2 variable. So double Fourier series means Fourier series for a function which is a function of 2 variable, nothing else. Okay, so double Fourier series means we will come the Fourier series of a function, and that function contains double variable, that means 2 variable. And normally you can consider a function containing 2 variable x and y. And for such type of function, this is the expression. This is the expression. For double variable, the summation will be double and the integration will be double. That is the change and nothing else. That is the change, nothing else. But here one thing is that this is the basically example of double Fourier sine series. And there is another similar expression for double Fourier cosine series. Okay, this expression is for double Fourier sine series, and the similar expression you get for double Fourier cosine series, nothing else. And the difference with the main series is that here the variable is 2. Here the variable is 2. That means double variable x and y. And here for double variable, you have to use double summation and double integration. Here Bn is the coefficients for double Fourier sine series, and the definition of Bn is like this. Okay. And in our numerical example, basically we will not use double Fourier series. We will only use singular Fourier series. So this is for your understanding, nothing else. This is for your understanding what will happen if you consider double variable. That's why I included this topic, nothing else. But we will practice maths for the expression of Fourier series only for single variable, not double variable. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you for joining our today's class. But now if you have any problem regarding our today's class, then you may ask. Anyone have any problem, then you may ask. Otherwise, we'll stop our today's class. Anyone have any query or any questions?
I just want to know about the application of this Fourier series, ma'am. Actually,
okay. Why you learn such type of difficult things, right? Why you will learn such type of difficult things? What is the necessary? Yes, it's a nice question. Basically, by using Fourier series, you can express a normal function. Suppose if x equals to x or x squared, something very simple functions in terms of trigonometric functions. You have already seen that Fourier series contains 2 terms. So one is for sine x and one is for cos. One for sine term and cos term. So using this Fourier series or Fourier analysis, you can convert a normal function into trigonometric functions and infinite series. And the important thing is that when you cannot test the convergence of any function, when you cannot test the convergence of any function, then you can convert it into Fourier series, and after that it will be very easy to check the convergence. This is the one importance, and the second importance is to understand the characteristics of any problem. If you are able to express a problem into Fourier series, then you will be able to understand the characteristics of your problem by the graphical representation. Okay. And the third one is, using Fourier analysis, you can solve many types of boundary value problems. And the importance of boundary value problems is that when you work in your job sector or different types of engineering sector, you have to face many problems, right? It will be your departmental problem or any type of problem. So such type of real problem can be converted into mathematical model or mathematical problems. And that type of problem are, if you give conditions, they are known as, it will be a system or a single equations. So when you convert your real life problem into mathematical problem, then you have to solve it, right? You have to solve it. And in that case, that problems can be solved by using Fourier series, and you will get the physical interpretation. Mainly Fourier series helps us to understand the physical interpretation of any problem. And for our real life, physical interpretation is very important. By solving any problem mathematically, we can understand is it accurate or not. But we cannot get the physical interpretation. But here, by using Fourier analysis, you will be able to get the physical interpretation of boundary value problem. And this is the most importance of this topic. Have you got your answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Anyone? And if you want to solve any problem by using Fourier analysis of boundary value problem, then you have to understand the procedure, right? And for this reason, you have to learn this topic, Fourier analysis. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for joining the class, everyone. Anyone, any query? Otherwise, I will stop our today's class. Okay. Allah Hafiz, take care.